Hey, YouTube. Sorry I'm late, but I just realized a few minutes ago that I had not given my review on Greenleaf. We've come this far by faith. Yeah, hallelujah. Leaning on Greenleaf. So we're only one episode away from the final episode, so we can't stop now, right? It opens up. Grace is talking to Miss Clara. Miss Clara is this girl that's got all this money. Either she's inherited the money from her ex-husband, or she once got a lottery or something. But she is a benefactor, right? An important voice on the board. Grace and who else is in there? Grace and that girl Julie and Connie are all meeting together, while Grace Simmons this vote from her. So Clara says that she will vote yes. But they're still going to need, somehow or other, they're still going to need Connie's vote. More will be revealed with that in a minute. Next thing we see, Phil confronts Grace, tells her to resign, or he's going to release evidence. He's got receipts about her lying to the police to save her son. Right? Yeah, she'll give him no answer, of course. He's given her to the end of the week to come up with an answer of is she going to resign or not. She does not know what kind of evidence he has. She just knows that she did lie and that he knows about it somehow or other. She immediately suspects her sister because her sister is the one around her every day. So Clarissa, she's pushing Jacob to ask his parents about the will. So apparently her plan is to find out if they're in the will, they're going to inherit the house or 1/3 of the house. She wants to sell her part to one of the other siblings, right? I think at the end maybe the climax is going to be they're going to try to kill them, because this guy, this Fernando guy, he's the one that initiated all this talk about the will. I'm thinking that's how it's going to climax. Their plan is going to try to take over this house by killing them, so she inherits some kind of way. Anyway, Bishop confronts Connie. He goes to Connie's house. Miss Connie's very snippy. Like I said, I don't understand why this woman has so much power just by being the head of the deacon board. Seems to me the founder of the church, the bishop, he didn't even have power over her when he was in the church and he was in the pulpit. Why she wield so much power? She's just an employee, basically. Anyway, this is the way they're playing it, and maybe it's truth in certain churches that the deacons actually run the church and have all the power. But he goes and confronts her, and she's kind of shining them off. Go away, you have no power here, kind of thing. And he tells her it would be a damn shame if the congregation knew that you accepted a bribe to partner us with H&H. She's taken aback, but she didn't let him see it. Right? Now, Lady May has told Bishop that she did not want him to do that. She did not want him to do that, right? But he feels like he's back into a corner. You got to fight fire with fire. Lady May did not want him to. She specifically told him not to tell her, not to use that weapon. Now, Lady May, she goes back and forth. Is she really trying to be spiritual? Because all of her devious past and all of her antics are not very spiritual. But now she's saying that this is not the godly way to do things. And at one point, she goes off into her prayer room to pray about it and all that. But so I don't know. I don't know about that part of her, that aspect of her character. Is she really a believer in following these principles set out in the Bible, or is she just a devious woman? Anyway, this guy says no. I mean, Jacob says no to his wife. If you want to talk about the will with my parents, you do it. I'm not doing it. He thinks it's rude, and I agree. Well, forgive the light in the glasses, people. I think I'm about time for me to get some new glasses anyway. I'll get some that doesn't reflect, like Anderson Cooper and them wear. I'll do that on my next glass run. Anyway, so Grace, Grace, like she said, she goes immediately to Charity because Charity is the one who has access to her and is living in the same house with her, and she's the one having an affair with Phil. So she goes immediately to Charity. She confronts her, and she wants to know, what does Phil know? Charity denies everything. They turned this Charity into a real loser in this season. Before, she was more of a victim type, kind of a sad sack, but now she's really becoming a devious woman. So I guess all this is going to be climaxing next week, people. We can't miss. Anyway, so for the moment, she denies everything. She said she didn't tell him nothing. And she said, oh, you shouldn't have lied. Like she ain't ever lied. Bitch, please. Excuse me. Woman, please. I don't like saying it to women. I don't mind calling men bitches, but if they get on my nerves. But I don't really like doing that too much with women. Okay. Julie is jealous because she had this affair with Phil, and now Phil is with Charity. And they're trying to... in the beginning, it was obvious that Phil was just using Charity to get what he wanted, right? Now they're trying to lead us to believe that he actually has some feeling for this woman. I think the original idea was correct. He's just using this woman to get what he wants. But this girl, Julie, she wants to be messy, so she tells him that she wants to have dinner with Charity. She wants to meet her face to face. And of course, when they go to the restaurant, he accepts the idea. They go to a restaurant. First thing she does is spill the beans about she used to be involved with him. Charity had no clue. She confronts him in the car after this fiasco in a restaurant, public place. He butters her up, gives her the keys to his apartment, and then says that he loves her. Like, that's always the changing moment when they actually voice the "I love you" kind of thing. After that, they can say "I love you" all the time. But it's got to be that first time that's important, right? So she falls for it, of course. She's such a lonely... Anyway. So I'm not totally clear anymore if he actually likes this woman or not. It certainly started out with him using her. But he is being played in some ways himself. He didn't have all the information that he feels that he should have as the number one guy over H&H's role in this church. Right. Okay. Dante and Jacob, last week they were on horrible terms. Dante went off on Jacob for being like everybody else. Now this is a big mystery for me because at some point, okay, Dante, they'd made up, right? He's already opened his sports bar. They're in the sports bar, and Jacob comes to see him. Dante immediately goes into this thing where, yeah, he wants to give the money to the school. But what I'm trying to figure out, why is Jacob so happy about this money? He acts like he's getting the money for himself and getting the house. The whole thing was they needed more money for this house, right? So how in the hell is Dante writing a check to the school going to help them get a house? What are they up to? Her too. They act like that's their money. Because she works there? What do they got to do with you getting a house? Or getting money for a house? Anyway, this man writes him a check apparently much bigger than what he asked for initially. Because his eyes got real big. I don't know if he put an amount on it initially, but this guy wrote a bigger check than he was thinking about, right? He goes to tell Carissa, she's all happy and giddy, and now they can get the house. I don't get it. They stealing the money? All right. Sophia has this dramatic scene where she's calling AJ. He's not there. They can't find him. Grace needs him to come forward in order to try to work their way out of this thing. But he will not respond. He's got a cell phone. Sophia calls him. She's crying. She's pleading for him to come back because Grace could go to jail. Her mother's standing right there, but finally, she's speaking up for her mother. Usually, you know how these teenagers are. She's always against whatever's going on with the mother. This time, she's pleading for her mother and for him to come back, right? But it's all on the message. He's still not answering. This is on his voicemail. May is furious. James told he wasn't supposed to do that. She told him specifically, don't do that. Maybe she wanted to use the card later. I don't know why she would just want to hold the information, though. She gives indication, it's not godly. That's the part I mean about, well, are you a holy woman, or you got some kind of plan, some scheme? What? It makes sense, since everybody's playing blackmail here, that he will want to play the same game. But she's furious. She calms down with James. She's confronting him, or he went and told her. She went off on him. Then she calmed down, and then she said she had to go to her prayer room, back to her prayer room, right? So they're trying to make Miss Lady May a more spiritual person this season. She always could quote Bible scripture, but what does it really mean? All right. Next thing we see is, Lady May did at some point tell this girl, Clarissa, that the house is going to be left to the 3 siblings equally. This is what Clarissa wanted to hear. Now she wants one of the other siblings to buy them out. She goes to Grace, and we know Grace has money because she inherited all this money from her father, who she never knew. And she's already bailed out Bishop for, I don't know, I forget how many millions of dollars. But apparently she got some left, because she says she agrees to it. At first, she asked Clarissa, how much money do you need? And Clarissa says, our share is easily worth $1 million. And then Grace gave it, I can't, And she said, but we could really work with 500,000. Grace still ain't biting. But anything over 250,000 would do. So she don't work her way from $1 million down to 250,000. She'll take. And it seems that Grace is amenable to this. She could do it if she wanted, if she chooses to do it. This makes this girl, I guess they made a deal. Nothing official, but they agreed to do it. So now she has gotten this money. She's gotten Grace to agree to give her at least $250,000. Same time, her husband, Jacob, has gotten all his money from Dante, which ain't supposed to be his money. As far as I can tell, it's supposed to be for the school, for a school. There's no mention of him giving him money to buy a house. All right. Anyway, they're flush with money now. Connie tells Julie and Phil about the blackmail, about Bishop blackmailing her, right? So she said the bishop is not going to go up for this 50-50 deal. And what he will agree to, is if the split is 60 stays with Calvary and 40 will go with H&H. So not an even split, right? And for some reason, this girl, Julie, she just accepts it. Or she seems to, okay, like that. Storms out of the room, and she immediately goes and fires the girl. What's the girl's name? The secretary? I forget her name. Starts with a C. She immediately goes and fires her, the secretary. And then she goes and confronts Grace, barges into Grace's office. And you could tell that she's trying to feel out Grace and see if she knew anything about it. She barges in there. Whose side are you on? What? What are you talking about? I don't know. She seemed to be satisfied that Grace did not know what was going on. So as far as she knows, Grace is still trying to get the board to agree to this deal with H&H. Dante's he's great opening the sports bar, right? So the girl, what's her name? Nikki or Kiki? Yeah, Nikki. Kiki was in Queen Sugar. Anyway, Nikki, She helped him to design it, come up with the concept and all that kind of stuff, right? Then they broke up. Well, she finds out that he's already had this big party, his grand opening, and she don't want to go, of course. She wasn't invited. Her and Zora are there kind of poo-pooing on the party. And then Sophia's there as well. But Sophia says nothing about this party. Sophia leaves the room, and these two girls, Zora and Nikki, they said, let's just go crash the party, whatever. I put a lot of work into that place, so we should be there. So they plan to go and crash the party, right? When they do, they have no idea anything about Sophia seeing this guy, right? They get there and they see them caress. And of course, this girl, Nikki, is hot. So these women, these young ladies, they nearly get in a fight. They're just pushing and shoving, but it's broken up pretty quickly, right? Lots of B words, things like that. And he has Zora and Nikki escorted out. So the cops have to come and carry them out. Okay, Sophia's not backing down. When she sees Zora again, she tells her, I can see anybody I want to see. Those two have broken up. I don't know her. I don't want to know her. Now, certainly we will never, be friends. But I have no relation to that woman. Why should I care what she thinks? They're broken up. All right. So that affair happened pretty quick. He took her for a drive, and now he's supposed to be in a relationship, I guess. May advises Grace or instructs Grace to come clean about the situation with that AJ. She figures that you come clean with your own stuff, nobody can hold it against you. That would be the end of the blackmail there, as far as Phil blackmailing her to leave the church. She says, stay and fight. And so Grace agrees to give the sermon and to explain the whole situation, right? Meanwhile, remember, Sophia had called and left a message on his phone that Grace was in big trouble of being arrested, right? So she's ready to go into her sermon and explain the whole thing. He walks in. Now, I don't know why him walking in would mean that she had to step down now. Because he walked in, how was that saying that either I was innocent or guilty? She still wants to believe that he's somehow innocent. But since he walked in the room, in the church, she changes her sermon and announces that this will be her very last sermon. She resigned, stepping down as interim pastor at Calvary. Right? And that's where they ended. All right, next week is the big climax. The big climax. We're going to see what's going to happen here. I'm guess one guess. I don't guess about everything, but I'm guessing that Fernando has some kind of plan to do something to Bishop and May. We'll see. In cahoots with that Clarissa. We'll see. Finale is next week. Later.